Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today during our fall town hall. We've been doing these for over a year, and it's hard to believe that we're already in the fall, but for those of us that are in New England, it is a beautiful time, so thank you for joining us. So we're going to get started. I'm going to go over a couple little quick logistics for those of you that may not have joined us in the past, but just so that you know, you have been muted, so if you're having lunch or maybe you're out for a walk or you might have a dog in the background that likes to bark, no worries, you're muted, so we won't hear you. But we do want to make sure that this town hall, it's about you. We want to make sure that any questions you have, Craig is here to answer them. We also have our Chief Experience Officer, Tom Montilli, available. So we want to make sure that any questions you have, we are addressing them. So you're going to have access to the question panel, which depending on how you logged in will either be on the right-hand navigation or on the top of your screen. Let's test that out. Let's make sure that it's working. And please let us know, how long have you been an HUECU member? You can let us know in the chat or let us know where you're joining us from, or both. That way we know that the chat feature is working. That's where you'll submit the questions. And also, we just like to get to know a little bit more about the folks that are with us today. So please let me know, where are you joining us from and how long have you been an HUECU member? Okay, so I see a couple that are coming in. We have somebody that's been with us just a little bit over a year. So you're one of our newer members. Thank you so much. Someone who has been with us for 15 years and they're joining from Boston, a teenager, HMS, Harvard Medical School for 3.5, someone from Maine for over a decade. Okay, so I think the person that's been with us for 15 years is winning so far. And then someone else from New Hampshire, a little bit over a year. I love seeing the mix, thank you. And Newton, and they've been here for a little bit over 2 years, and a couple others for a few years. Thank you so much for letting us know. Also know that a couple of you will be chosen randomly to receive a HUECU swag box. So if you get an email from myself or my colleague Sarah Scruggs saying that you won an HUECU swag box, that is not a scam, that is us. But if you are ever questioning anything being a scam from us, you can always call the support center or come into the branch. But a couple of you will be getting HUECU swag boxes. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through and cover a couple of the questions that you have submitted, and that's what we love these town halls. These are questions that you submit through the platform. We put them together, and Craig answers them. So there's really, we may edit a couple of typos in the questions, but these are 100% your questions. Oh, someone that has been a member for 20 years. So I think that you are currently winning for being with us for the longest, and you're joining from Milton. Thank you. And I also want to start off with just one quick update that we have. We are very excited to be a not-for-profit. That means that we get to give back to our community. And one of the things that we're doing in this month is we're matching miracles. So starting today, you can go on your online banking platform and you can actually make a donation directly from your account to Matching Miracles, which is going to go directly to the Children's Miracle Network, which for us helps support one of our partners, which is Boston Children's Hospital. And this will go through the end of the month. So if you have an ability to gift, we recommend, please do, but we understand not everyone can. So if you can't, no worries. We are going to match up to $2,500. So please encourage you to give if you can. You can also log on to just go onto our website if you want a direct link, and I'll put that in the chat as well for you later. And that's all that I'm going to say before really turning it over to the person that's going to walk us through and give us all the great knowledge and share with us, our President and CEO, Craig Leonard, who has been in the banking industry for 30 years and with us for over a decade. Craig has previously been our Chief Financial Officer and has been in his current role as a president for a little bit over a year, about a year and a half. And, he's going to share a lot of exciting things. And I'm going to turn it over to you, Craig, and see any questions or anything you would like to say before we jump in.
Just welcome everyone. I like doing these. We've been doing them for a little bit over a year now, and I can't believe it's November already. So let's get started.
Thank you, Craig. So the first question that we have, does HUECU ever offer low or no interest loan programs to solve unusual problems?
Yeah, we have, and I'll answer this in two different ways. So, when the pandemic first came, we certainly offered some a COVID relief loan, which was a 0% loan. Even years ago when there was the terrible accident up in the Merrimack Valley with the gas explosions, you know, we came to help our members up in that area right away with providing them real relief on loans by offering them 0% loans as well. So whenever we can do that, you know, we have programs with the clerical union workers on relocation. But the other part of this too, when I read it, might be more around a specific need for an individual. And I know, you know, life throws us all curveballs. And so if there's, you know, any member that is going through a challenging time and they have a loan with us, I'd recommend that you reach out to our loan department. We're here to help. You know, we take great pride in looking at every situation as its own and trying to help that member get back on their feet. So if we have to look at doing some modifications to help you get back into a better repayment with us, then we certainly would do that. That's what we're all about, is to help you out through sometimes challenging times.
Thank you, Craig, and especially thank you for that reminders. You know, we are here, so if you ever do have one of those situations, please reach out to us. The next question that we have for you, Craig, is how is HUECU competing against other reward-based credit card offers?
Yeah, so we have 2 rewards accounts, credit card accounts now, and you know, we've had a platinum rewards account for a number of years now. The credit card space is a really competitive space. You know, if you're like me, you're getting solicited all the time for this credit card or that credit card. You know, we take great pride again in offering a straightforward account. So, you know, our account is based on having no fees, no annual fees. It's a low interest rate. It's a low fee structure. And it's a straightforward kind of reward type of system. The rewards, the platinum rewards account that we've had for a number of years, like I mentioned, has been one that you've seen out there in the marketplace, where depending on your spending behaviors offers you a different type of reward. So for example, you know, we might give you 3 times the amount of points on gas, 2 times on groceries, and then 1 point on everything else. We've had that out there in the marketplace for a number of years. What we did earlier this year, though, is we were looking at the market and seeing if we could come out with something that was a little different, maybe a little better, again, a little bit more competitive. And so we introduced our Rewards Plus account. It's similar in design, except for the reward structure. It offers no annual fees. The rate structure, interest rate structure is extremely low, but the reward structure is 1.5 points on everything. So you don't have to think, okay, what am I going to get on groceries? What am I going to get gas? What am I going to get on everything else? You'll get 1.5 points on everything across the board. Straightforward, easy to understand. The other thing about this card that we have is within the first year, it's a 0% loan on purchases and balance transfers. So if it's a card that you don't have, it's something that you're considering, especially kind of going into the holiday season. Terrific time to get. I would say the other advantages or perks on our card is, you know, our points don't expire, and it's something that I would absolutely recommend that you take a look at. But it's like I said, it's a competitive market out there for cards, and we continue to survey it and try to give you the best value that we possibly can.
Our next question that a member submitted was, will the credit union be introducing new loan products?
So back here in 2021, we actually introduced 4 new types of loan products. So we had the Platinum Rewards Plus that I just mentioned. We also introduced a boat loan and an RV loan, and that was kind of you know, people during the pandemic changed their vacation behaviors tremendously, and we saw a real uptick in demand in boat sales as well as RV sales. We wanted to make sure that we were giving lending options to members who might be changing their own vacation habits. So we introduced those type of products. We also had worked with some folks over at MGB with their education program, and we introduced a resident and fellow loan over there to help them with their educational needs. So we're really excited about that as well. We are continuing to look at other needs of our membership. You know, one of the things we are talking about right now is you know, do we start to provide a construction loan? You know, it's not something that we have done in the past. You know, we have a very strong kind of mortgage lineup of products, but that is a little bit of a gap in our offering today. So we are looking at that. So at some point, if you're thinking about, you know, instead of buying that home, perhaps building a home or putting an addition onto your house, you know, we feel like there could be a need here for our membership. So it is something that we are exploring. We don't have a timetable on when we would introduce that, but we are definitely kicking the tires on it.
Thank you, Craig. A member asked, does the credit union finance mortgages in Rhode Island?
We do. So the laws have changed a lot around real estate mortgages. So back in April of this year, the rules changed. Previous to that, it said you could only do a mortgage 100 miles away from where you're headquartered. So 100 miles away from where I'm sitting here in Cambridge is kind of as far as we could do a mortgage. In April, this legislation changed and they abolished that 100-mile radius restriction. So since that time, we've been working to say, you know, we want to expand our mortgage geographic footprint. So I'm happy to say that we can do mortgages right now throughout New England. So I know when Migdalia was asking her question earlier on, there was someone from New Hampshire on the call today. There's someone from Maine on the call today. In the past, we couldn't help you with a mortgage, but now we can. So we're really excited about this extended reach that we can do. And we further hope to expand that reach beyond New England, you know, in the next year or two as well. So we'll be adding more states to the kind of that lineup. But if you're in the New England states and you're looking to buy a home or refinance your mortgage, please consider us.
Sticking to our home buying questions, do you offer competitive mortgage programs for people purchasing condos in Cambridge?
So we do a lot of real estate lending, and we do a lot of condo lending just because of where we're located here is, you know, just outside of Cambridge. We're doing condo lending throughout the Boston area, and we have for a long time. In fact, we're probably one of the largest credit union lenders for condos in this region. We don't have any specific programs geared towards condos, and I would recommend that you reach out to one of our mortgage loan originators for more information regarding kind of the requirements we have around condos. The thing that I would say that is unique about our institution in terms of not just condos for real estate, but just mortgages in general, is that we don't do what's called loan level pricing adjustments. So the rate that you see with our institution for mortgage rates is the rate that you'll always get. You know, unlike a lot of other lenders where you'll go and you'll see a published rate and then you might apply and then they might come back to you and say, what, you know what, your credit score is a little bit outside of our range, so your rate needs to be a little higher. Or you're buying a condo and that rate needs to be a little higher. We don't do that. You know, it's a very straightforward approach, again, that we take with our membership. So the rate that we publish is the rate that you'll get, which again makes us very unique.
Next question that was submitted, what will be the operating branch hours for the Charlestown Navy Yard branch?
So right now, the Navy Yard branch is operating 2 days a week. It is Tuesday and Thursdays. Hopefully I got that right. Tuesdays and Thursdays. And that'll be the case through the remainder of this year. We'll reassess that beginning of early 2022. And that reassessment is really based upon how many staff are really back into the buildings over there. You know, other branches that we have, our Assembly Row branch, for example, here in mid-November, that'll be extending to 2 days as well. That branch is a Monday, Friday availability in both of those locations, both the Navy Yard as well as the Assembly Row branch are open only to those members who you know, work within those buildings themselves. And like I said, as more people come back into the facility, that'll dictate what our operating hours are. The other branch that we have right now that still remains unopened is the branch over in the Longwood area. And you know, we would love to open it. We're just waiting for Harvard to give us a nod. We don't anticipate that to happen, honestly, into the beginning of 2022. But we're in constant contact with Harvard, and as soon as they give us the green light to get back into that facility, we will. We're eager to do so.
And until we can see more people, just a quick reminder with all of our banking, you can do it online. So we have a great online banking platform. We also have a wonderful app that you can download and do business with us, even as if you were in front of us.
Yeah, it's a great point you made, Migdalia. You know, the pandemic, one of the things it's done for not just our membership, but just people in general. It's forced them to use technology a little differently than maybe what they were doing previously. So, you know, we continue to look at technology and how we're utilizing technology and how our members continue to engage with us remotely.
Another question that a member submitted was, are market link certificates of deposit a good investment?
So I would say on this, it depends. It depends on what your risk appetite is. And so a market linked certificate of deposit is something that is tied to an index. It might be tied to, for example, the S&P 500 index and how that performs. So there are more variables in play with a market linked certificate of deposit versus a traditional certificate of deposit, which we offer. We don't offer market linked CDs, but we do offer traditional CDs. So if you feel, for example, that the stock market might continue to perform well, then a market linked CD might provide you with some yield enhancements. The variables that come into play, however, is that many cases there's caps on how much you could earn on a product like that. So even if the stock market continues to do very well, you may be capped on how high you can go. Often the issuer of the CD may have the ability to redeem that certificate from you prior to maturity. So it can kind of play in terms of what you thought your timeline was with that CD versus in fact what it actually is. And then again, if the markets don't perform well, then your return on that investment may be, you know, substantially lower than what you had anticipated. The stability or known variables of our CDs is that you know what the rate of return is going to be. It's not going to change during the term of the investment. It doesn't dictate. It doesn't change with market changes. You know, we don't have the ability to call away that CD prior to maturity. So you know, with our CDs, what you're going to get versus a market linked CD where, like I said, there's unknowns that you're dealing with. All that being said, it really depends upon your risk appetite more than anything else.
Our members have a good amount of questions about investment, something that we get often when we do our presentations. And another question that they submitted was if we offer investment services.
Yeah, it's we get this one a lot, Migdalia, and you're right. I know you hear about it often as well. We've got these type of comments regularly enough where we're having a lot more conversations here within the management team as well as our board of directors. And I think we all agree that offering some type of investment services will make sense for our membership. I think the process that we're going through now or soon to be is what that'll look like. So we'll be conducting our due diligence. What we want to do is we want to make sure that we put forward to you the best, product or service available, and something that's fair and honest and something that you can trust. I mean, you do business with the credit union hopefully because you trust us, and that's what we're about. So investment services will be something that we will offer. Like I said, we're just going through the process of trying to figure out what's best for you, the members. And from a timetable standpoint, this may be something that's still 12 months away or so, but it is definitely something on our agenda.
We have just 3 more questions left, and I'd like to remind everyone on the webinar, if you have a question, you can please submit it through the questions panel. Myself and our Chief Experience Officer are reviewing those and can also ask Craig if time allows at the end. A member asked, where do you see membership numbers in the next 5 years?
We haven't got a question like this in the past, and I love it. Growing the membership is really important to us. It just proves to us that you're finding value in our organization, which we love to see, and we've been on a upward trajectory of new members joining the credit union, which is fantastic. So at the end of this year, we'll have about 52,000 members, which is terrific. We are probably forecasting about a 3% annual membership increase. So over 5 years, that kind of takes us to about 60,000 members. If we I'd love us to grow a little faster, if we could grow in that 4% range, which is kind of higher than industry average, to be honest with you. That takes us to about 65,000 members. So, for me, I'm shooting somewhere between that 60 and 65,000 members, 5 years from now.
I love these questions that our members submit, and it's great because it seems like they're planted, but I swear they're not, because this member must have known we have, or maybe they're psychic and she'll look into that, but because we actually have a member referral campaign that is happening now, and I will put the link in the chat, but essentially your parents, your children, your siblings, your grandparents can all become members of the credit union through your membership. And once they become, that field of membership extends to their direct family members as well. And if you refer a member, you can earn $50 and they can as well. So just so you know, it's huecu.org/referral. Are Harvard contractors able to open accounts with the credit union?
We get this a little bit, and there's the way that our eligibility works today around contractors is essentially if you get a Harvard ID, then you're eligible for membership. And so I know with a number of contractors who have a temporary type of an assignment. Often you'll get a Harvard ID with that, and if so, then you are eligible to become a member of the credit union. Unfortunately, if you're not at this point in time, you can't. So I'm sorry about that. But any of you contractors who have a Harvard ID, we would love you to come join us.
Thank you, Craig. And I do want to mention quickly with that referral campaign, not only can you earn $50, the individual that you refer, but we will also be doing a $5 donation in the month of November to Boston Children's and in December to the Massachusetts Coalition for the Homeless. And the last question that we currently have, how has the pandemic affected business?
we've had a lot of changes in our business over the last 18 months, like so many. For the credit union, certainly when the pandemic first occurred, we immediately went to help a number of our members who were negatively impacted. We reduced a lot of interest rates on our products. We suspended a lot of our fees. A number of those fees have still not been reinstated. We saw declines in certain business lines. So for example, we have a credit card portfolio. We saw dips in that line of business as people were kind of locked up at home and they couldn't spend like they typically had done in the past. So we saw declines in that type of product by about 25%. Now this year here, we've seen a little bit of a rebound, but that part of the business has been a little bit slow to recover. During the pandemic, a number of people got stimulus money. So with their kind of inability to go out and spend it, we've seen a surge of deposits come into our institution. That necessarily hasn't been unique for us, but that's been something that's happened throughout the banking industry. That even has happened a little bit more here in 2021. We saw some declines in our student loan business. Again, there were a number of students who just deferred coming to school here last year. So we saw declines in that part of the business. One of the bright spots of our business certainly has been the mortgage end of the business. Real estate values have been on fire here in our market for sure. And during this stage, we saw interest rates hit some record lows. So what happened in 2020 was this enormous refinance boom. It was probably the busiest year that the industry had seen in terms of refinances. And so we were able to offset some of those negatives that I had mentioned from a business standpoint through all this increased refinance volume that we were able to achieve. Here in 2021, some of that refinance activity has continued to occur, at least through the first 3 quarters of this year. We're starting to see that the real estate market start to slow down a little bit, but more so on the refinancing activity. The other part of our business that certainly has been impacted has been our staff. Before this, we had everyone come into the office, and now I would say about 85% of our staff work remotely. And so that's been a big change in terms of how we operate. The staff here have been just amazing on how, as an organization, we've had to adapt our operating structure to make sure that we're continuing to provide the membership with the best possible service that we can. Like I said, they've been just terrific throughout this entire process. So we're seeing a gradual improvement in some of these other business lines, but it certainly has had some challenges along the way.
Thank you, Craig, for just the transparency and the honesty with all that you mentioned about our organization and how our organization continues to grow and will continue to do so. And a lot of that is thanks to the flexibility and support of our members and staff. We have a couple of questions that unfortunately we won't get to today, but what I do want to let anyone that did submit a question, we will be in contact. Either myself or someone else from the team will answer those questions that you submitted directly. And I want to thank everyone for joining us today. I want to thank Craig, as always, for sharing all the information that he does with us, and to remind you to just keep in touch. You can follow us on all of the social media platforms at MyHUECU. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, where we will upload this town hall early next week. So if you didn't get a chance to miss some parts of it or miss the parts of it, you can catch up. And if there's ever anything that we can do to help, feel free to give us a call, send us an email, or come visit us at one of our branches. And we hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. And remember that this Sunday, we turn back the clock. So it is that time of year. And thanks again, Craig, and I'll turn it over to you for closing statements.
Again, I just want to thank everyone for participating today. You know, these town halls have been great, and the questions that we continue to get are fantastic. So as McDowell mentioned, you know, keep sending them our way. Some of the questions that we've received have actually changed the way we operate. You know, we had a question, I think, at the last town hall meeting regarding a way we do wire transfers. And from that, we've actually changed our process and incorporated a recommendation that that particular member had. So we do take these extremely seriously. We're looking to provide you with the best member experience that we can. So your feedback is always useful. So keep them coming, and as always, thank you for your participation in the credit union. And it sounds odd for me to say this, but happy holidays. It just sounds way too early to say that.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you, everyone.